That's right. It's time to talk about this thing, which made the news in a major way and is still making the news even today. Although today is, of course, February 21st of 2021, long after the actual storm has passed. But the effects of this are still being experienced in the southern United States, which I think was probably hit the worst out of any place by this massive winter storm, which is really kind of funny when you consider the weather that the southern United States usually gets. They don't normally get weather events like this even during the winter, which means that their infrastructure is not really designed to handle a winter storm with the snow and the freezing temperatures and anything like that, which is what is really the big driver in what crippled their power grid, among other things. They don't have the infrastructure. It'd be a waste of money to build things to the standard they build things to up here. It's easy for me to sit here and say, well, we didn't have problems because our stuff is built to handle the winter, but we need it to handle the winter because this kind of thing happens all the time. As you'll see later in the video, we only got maybe about a foot of snow up here. We didn't really get a whole lot here, and a foot of snow is a normal snowfall for the winter. I mean, it's a heavy snowfall, but it's not out of the ordinary to get at least one of those a year. What you're about to see is video footage of this particular historic storm as seen in my area. Now, it didn't get here until the 16th of February, and it really only took place, it was all day February 16th, but it was only the 16th. The next day it was nice and sunny out, which is kind of funny, but that's how it ended up working out here. So, what you're going to see is just a look at what took place here. I have some pictures, because this thing that I recorded with, unfortunately, does not do very well in low light, and some of the videos, it's kind of hard to see what's going on. But without further ado, this is what happened here in the nation's capital on February 16th of 2021. So here it is, about nearly 4 o'clock in the morning. And rather than going to bed, I'm sitting here monitoring the ongoing winter storm of 2021. There are a lot of places that have got this a lot worse than what we do here. In fact, I think that pretty much everybody has got it worse than what we do here. Ultimately, we're not really going to get much. This is what the current conditions are. This is what the forecast says. You can pause to read that if you would like to do so. Same deal for the snowfall warning that is currently in effect. I'm not so sure you'd be able to see much if I open this up. Unfortunately, this camera does an exceptionally poor job of really showing anything. I think you might be able to see the snow falling. And, just how much snow has fallen already. It's only going to get worse. And if things go the way that I think you're going to go, I'm going to be the one that's going to have to shovel it. So that's awesome. And the other thing that's important to note is that I'm going to have to go out in it tomorrow because one of the cars has to go into the dealership to have some work done. And nobody else wants to do it. So, looks like I get stuck with the short end of that stick, too. Get an idea for how much is falling just by looking at the roof of the truck over there. If I didn't just completely mess up the focus, which it probably will not get back. Yep, I hate this thing. Digital zoom, man. Digital zoom. So, I guess I'll be back later on to share what is going on. Still can't really see it all that well. But it is really coming down now. Listen to how quiet that is. Of course, you gotta be careful because this is blowing around. I don't want it to blow in the house, blow in my face. But you can get an idea of the snow, which is still falling. But I think the majority of it's done now. Still nothing compared to what it used to be. 20 years ago. You can get 8-foot tall snowbanks. I don't think you can get that anymore. And again, there are a lot of places that have it worse than this. Just by looking at it, roughly, I think we probably got 20 centimeters of snow. So that would be about 2/3 of a foot. I don't know what that is in inches. It doesn't convert evenly. I know that. I had a path here dug out. I almost wouldn't even know it now. Huh. I think I'm gonna have to dig that back out again. Pretty cold out. That was kind of neat. Jesus Christ. Anyway, that ought to give you a pretty good idea just how high the snow is. There you go. It's now all cleaned out. As good as it's ever gonna get. It doesn't really need to be that great. I just need to get back here. So I almost can't even tell that there's stuff there. That's pretty bad. Of course, had to go out today for this, but I was gonna head to a thrift store to make my trip worthwhile to me. I took one look at that parking lot and just turned around because that was ridiculous. Places in this city have got a real bad habit of not cleaning things. I mean, they did come around and clean the road, which is nice. Normally they don't do that, but this is a significant enough snowfall that they almost have to. It's not like you're going to be able to get away without doing it. In all seriousness, of course, nobody should be out in this.
You know, and doubly so considering current world events. You should be staying at home. In fact, I would argue that you shouldn't even be going out to the grocery store or anything like that. I wouldn't have been out if this thing didn't have an appointment that it had to go to. And even then, the prudent thing would have been to reschedule it. Because they look clean, but the roads are not nice out there. And like I was saying, there's a lot of places that have it worse than we do. You go down south, in Texas and the southern states, they've got it really bad. But of course, they never get snow. So, they don't really know how to deal with snow. And the infrastructure is not built for dealing with snow. So, they have a bigger problem than we do up here, where snow is second nature in the wintertime. It's really cold out. I'm surprised at how cold it is. You know, it wasn't supposed to be this cold. That or the snow makes it feel colder. I'm not really sure. But I love how quiet snow makes it. It'd be even quieter if you didn't hear the din of snowblowers. Oh, there you go. There's your snowfall. Now, the smart thing to have done would have been to take a measurement before this started, because there's no real way to know. But I think it was, I'd wager that and say that it was probably only maybe about 15 or so before this started, so it was about a foot of snow, which is a pretty fair amount. Well, again, it's nothing compared to what some places got. So, there's your snowfall. Now it's nice and sunny out. It's still freezing cold. And I think I could probably wrap this up now. So there's your winter storm. Is that an airplane or? I think it's an airplane, but I don't know where it is. Anyway, it doesn't matter. There's your winter storm of 2021. And what it ended up being here.